Poor Charles was left completely stunned after a dramatic courtroom moment changed everything. What started as another tense day inside the courthouse quickly turned into one of the most unforgettable events the city had ever witnessed. No one expected young Scout to become the center of attention, but by the end of the hearing, every person in the room was frozen in shock after the truth finally came out. For weeks, rumors had spread across Port Charles about the mysterious shooting that tore several families apart. Friends turned against each other, relationships crumbled, and accusations flew in all directions. Some believed the wrong person had already been blamed, while others were convinced the real culprit was still hiding in plain sight. The pressure only grew stronger as the trial moved forward, and many feared the truth might never actually surface. Inside the courtroom, emotions were already running high. Tension filled the air as lawyers argued back and forth, each side desperately trying to control the narrative. Every witness who took the stand only added more confusion to the case. Some testimonies contradicted earlier statements, while others opened dangerous new questions that nobody wanted answered. But then, everything changed the moment Scout entered the courtroom. At first, many assumed her appearance would only be symbolic. After all, she had been deeply affected by the chaos surrounding the case, and most people believed she was too overwhelmed to offer anything important. Even the attorney seemed unsure what she might say. However, as Scout quietly took her seat and prepared to speak, the entire room suddenly became silent. You could almost feel the tension spreading through the courthouse. The judge reminded everyone to remain calm and respectful, but it was obvious something major was about to happen. Several familiar faces exchanged nervous glances, while others avoided eye contact completely. One person in particular appeared visibly shaken the second Scout looked in their direction. That detail did not go unnoticed. Scout began carefully, speaking softly at first. She admitted how frightened she had been ever since the shooting happened. She described the confusion, the panic, and the heartbreaking aftermath that followed. Her words immediately touched everyone in the courtroom, because unlike the endless legal arguments, Scout spoke from pure emotion. But then her tone changed. As she continued, Scout revealed that she had remembered something important, something she had been too scared to share before. According to her testimony, she saw a crucial moment connected to the night of the shooting. At first, she kept quiet because she feared nobody would believe her. She also worried that telling the truth could place someone she cared about in danger. The courtroom instantly exploded with whispers. Several attorneys objected, demanding clarification, while others looked completely caught off guard. Even the judge struggled to regain order as people reacted to Scout's unexpected revelation. But Scout remained calm. Despite the pressure surrounding her, she continued explaining exactly what she saw that night. Then came the moment nobody was prepared for. Scout revealed the identity of the real shooter. Gasps echoed across the courtroom as stunned faces turned toward the accused individual. Some people looked horrified, while others appeared completely speechless. One family member broke down emotionally, unable to process the shocking information that had just been exposed in front of everyone. The accused person immediately denied the claims, insisting Scout was confused and manipulated. Their attorney quickly attempted to discredit her testimony, arguing that a traumatic experience could affect memory and perception. But the damage had already been done, because Scout's statement connected perfectly with several missing pieces of evidence that investigators had struggled to explain for weeks. Suddenly, earlier inconsistencies began making sense.
A missing timeline, strange behavior after the shooting. Everything started aligning in a way nobody expected. Even some courtroom observers who previously doubted the investigation began reconsidering their opinions after hearing Scout speak. Meanwhile, reactions outside the courthouse spread like wildfire. News of Scout's testimony traveled across Port Charles within minutes. Social media exploded with debates as residents argued over whether justice had finally been served or if another devastating twist was still waiting around the corner. Some praised Scout's bravery for finally speaking up, while others worried the situation would place her directly in harm's way. Back inside the courtroom, the emotional fallout continued growing. Certain family members could not hide their anger after realizing they may have trusted the wrong person all along. Betrayal filled the room as old friendships suddenly collapsed under the weight of Scout's revelation. One emotional confrontation nearly erupted when accusations started flying between multiple relatives connected to the case. The judge eventually threatened to clear the courtroom entirely unless everyone regained control. Even after order was restored, the atmosphere remained intense. Nobody could ignore the emotional devastation caused by Scout's testimony. For some people, the truth brought relief because they believed an innocent person had finally been vindicated, but for others, the revelation destroyed everything they thought they knew. The accused shooters soon found themselves isolated as more questions emerged about their possible motives. Why did they hide the truth for so long? What really happened during the moments leading up to the shooting? And perhaps most importantly, did they act alone? Those questions immediately became the focus of the investigation. Detectives reopened several pieces of evidence connected to the case, hoping Scout's statement would help uncover even deeper secrets buried beneath the surface. Sources close to the investigation hinted that additional arrests could eventually follow if new information continues surfacing. And that possibility terrified several people in Port Charles. Because if Scout's testimony proved one thing, it was that the shooting involved far more deception than anyone originally realized. Elsewhere, emotional conversations unfolded between characters struggling to process the shocking developments. Some blamed themselves for ignoring warning signs earlier. Others admitted they protected certain individuals out of loyalty rather than honesty. Relationships that once seemed unbreakable suddenly appeared fragile and uncertain. Meanwhile, Scout herself became overwhelmed by the sudden attention surrounding her testimony. Although many residents praised her courage, the emotional burden clearly weighed heavily on her shoulders. She never intended to become the center of a massive courtroom scandal. She simply wanted the truth to come out so the chaos surrounding the shooting could finally end. But in Port Charles, the truth rarely solves everything. In fact, it often creates even bigger problems. As night fell across the city, multiple characters were left questioning what would happen next. Would the shooter finally confess? Could investigators uncover the full story before more lives were destroyed? Or would new secrets emerge that completely change the case all over again? One thing became painfully clear after Scout's shocking courtroom testimony. Nothing in Port Charles would ever be the same again. The fallout from her revelation had only just begun. Enemies were forming, alliances were shifting, and several dangerous secrets still remained hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to explode. Now, fans are left wondering whether Scout's courageous decision truly exposed the entire truth, or if her testimony merely opened the door to an even darker mystery. Because in Port Charles, every answer comes with consequences, and sometimes the truth is more dangerous than the lie itself. If you enjoyed this dramatic General Hospital spoiler story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your predictions about what happens next in Port Charles.